Welcome to the kill-death ratio, where I count every kill, every death, and at the end compare my playthrough with another content creator to see who comes out on top. Today, I'm continuing Resident Evil 2 as Claire Redfield and still comparing my run with Markiplier's. The game offers A and B scenarios, and depending on which character you choose the first time, you'll be able to play as the other in a slightly altered campaign. While the environment is similar to Leon's run, we get to see a different perspective and storyline playing as Claire. Will I succeed in topping Markiplier's kill total this time? Let's find out and start killing. We open up with Claire riding her motorcycle when she decides to pull over at the gas station and use their payphone.
Why does everyone think I'm gonna get in trouble?
Because you are, Claire. Hey, do you have a moment to talk about your car insurance? And now we get an expedited opening sequence since we already saw it in Leon's campaign. Fast forward to Raccoon City when they get split up. Claire finds herself in a not so welcoming part of the station as several new graves are littered throughout this spot. As I saunter down the path, the helicopter crashes into the station, speeding everything right the fuck up. After the chopper explodes, I run back to the chain door and pick up some items. Early on I get 2 weapons, but mostly utilize one of them due to ammo constraints. I enter the police station and pop my kill cherry here, and follow that up by killing this vandal. I run up the stairs and take down a couple flaming zombies before heading into the main hall.
Anybody here?
Yeah, Claire, you got hella company. I eliminate the first zombie in front of me using my knife, and follow that up with a headshot to shut this zombie up. The last zombie is poor old Marvin Brana, who I down on the steps, and oh my god, his arm just fell off. Since everything is sped up in this run, that means we get to see the lickers much earlier as well. So after tossing some grenades at it, I eventually bring it down without getting hit. Leon could learn a thing or two from Claire. Near the west offices, I take up janitorial duties, mopping up the riffraff in here and adding 5 zombies to my count. As a reward, I grab a grenade launcher from the storage room, then enter the office across the hall and add its 2 zombie residents to my kill total. While item locations may differ in this campaign, a lot of the combinations are the same, so I can use my prior knowledge of Leon's run to take advantage and grab some items early. On the 3rd floor, Claire gives herself a brief pep talk.
I can do this.
Before bringing the kill total to 16. In the library, I snipe a zombie, then climb down the ladder and run into the side room. Homeboy gets impatient though and busts in, only to get downed and slashed up. I cut his legs off, and at this point he's had enough and tries to crawl away from me. But guess what, Zombro? I'm not trapped in this station with you. You're all trapped in here with me. After spending some time traversing the station and snatching up items, I come across the STARS room and find Chris's letter, which seems to be coded specifically for Jill and Barry, but Claire doesn't know that.
This does not sound like Chris.
Then as soon as I exit the STARS room, that gray-faced, power-walking son of a bitch emerges from the darkness down the hall, prompting me to turn tail and run downstairs. While avoiding Mr. X, eventually I grab all 3 medallions in order to unlock the area below the police station. Down here, I find this little girl talking down to me.
You need help.
Excuse me, little girl? No, I don't. Because that big-eyed freak is about to get spanked, and not in a kinky way. This fight operates the same way as it does with Leon, but I have a submachine gun instead of a shotgun to play with. After some time, Birkin's mutated ass has had enough and falls over the railing. That little girl was watching the fight from above like Julius fucking Caesar, and after Claire offers her help to find this girl's mom, she gives us the thumbs up and drops the ladder. Claire converses with the girl a bit when we find out her mom is an Umbrella employee working on some medicine, which can only mean she's a piece of shit. We climb up into the parking garage when this greasy looking cop barges in and shouts the girl's name, forcing her to tie Claire's hands before he kidnaps Sherry. He locks the garage door behind him, but despite those bug eyes, he doesn't notice they drop something. I head into the kennel, which isn't populated by dogs this time, and instead a couple lickers are flashing some booty at me. I use my grenade launcher to wipe them out promptly. Down the hall in the morgue, I explode the zombie's head and add another one to the tally. On my way back, another licker is waiting for me right outside the kennel, but unlike dogs, I can look up and cook that skinless freak with my grenade launcher. One of the differences between the Leon and Claire campaigns are the rooms that we can enter. As Claire, I gain access to the police chief's office. Scouring this area for items proves to be useful in unlocking some of the mystery surrounding what happened to STARS, and backs up what Ben said before his head got crushed like a soda can. Wheeler-in-Chief Irons has been taking payment from William Birkin so he can use the police as his own personal security. Further into his office, we find out Irons is a good old-fashioned psychopath as he details his pleasures in killing an endangered animal, as well as a pig. Real classy there, Chief. After some exploring, I wind up in the interrogation rooms where apparently I'm not providing useful information fast enough because a licker busts through the window, effectively scaring the shit out of me. I take revenge on it by peeking into the room and unloading my submachine gun into it to get my 25th kill of the game. Upstairs, I take care of the 2 zombies using my revolver before climbing down the ladder onto the rooftop. Bitch-ass Susan announces my presence here though. forcing me to take down a couple more zombies, this time using my knife. After the helicopter flames are extinguished, Mr. X makes another appearance, but I've seen this trick already, so I shoot his dick and run down to the first floor where some zombies have decided to take up residence. I take the time to clear this residence of evil and add 4 more zombies to my count. I venture to the other side of the station, and after a close call with death, I use my grenade launcher to rid this place of another licker before going up to the clock tower. I ring-a-ding-ding the bell so I can grab the final electronic part needed to advance. I solve the puzzle and enter the caged area in this creepy fucking office when the phone rings. Claire answers it and agrees to bring Chief Irons the item he dropped earlier. She gets real cliche with her threats.
I swear, you bastard, if you hurt her.
But Irons hangs up that phone with authority. Doesn't quite have the same dramatic effect with a cordless phone though. Here is when we take control of Sherry in what I consider the scariest part of the entire game. I mean, look at this doll. Holy shit, that's terrifying. Some kid stuffed a block in its butthole, allowing Sherry to pass the time with a little brain game though. Once that's solved, she's now armed with scissors so we can get a little stabby. Or to cut the tape holding the cardboard up. Look, Sherry, I think you could have just peeled that tape back. Eventually, we find ourselves by the front door, but of course it's locked. I grab a note in here describing some horrific shit Umbrella is doing to these orphans, and then enter the western side of this building where a dead body is displayed. As Sherry reaches for the key, Irons shuts his music off and approaches her. Sherry defends herself by smashing a bottle on his face that turns Chief Irons into motherfucking Two-Face. This begins a chase sequence that's way more tense than any chase we've had with Mr. X so far. Sherry is forced to duck and hide in this room while Irons searches. I get stuck on a shelf when trying to hide, prompting me to get caught, but since the game doesn't say killed here, I won't be adding that to my death total. After some time, Irons can't handle the pain anymore and goes to the bathroom, granting Sherry the opportunity to grab his keys and make a run for it. The front door is double locked, so the key doesn't work. Instead, we run back to the western side and lock the door behind us there. But all work and no play makes Chief Irons an angry boy as he gets all Jack Torrance on the door. Sherry hides in the worst fucking spot imaginable as Irons obviously finds her and snatches her up, but we're not the only ones in here because William Birkin makes this guy eat his hand slug. Slimy, yet satisfying. We flip back to Claire, and as soon as I open the garage door, some familiar footsteps ring out. I run in a quick circle, confusing him, and run outside to blow up this zombie with my grenade launcher. I continue along the catwalk when I spot some Raccoon City wildlife in their natural habitat. I gun the dog down and turn my attention to the zombie stumbling up the stairs after what has clearly been a long night out. After she's been disposed of, I take out the other dog in the next area, but as I get closer, 2 more dogs pop up and are quickly killed. What the fuck was that? Inside the basketball court, 3 additional dogs approach, but this isn't Air Bud, so there's no happy ending and get shot up and added to the count. Further down the street, I enter a bus only to have another pupper come up behind me. I end its life and I treat the zombie in the bus like any other and add that one to my total. Finally, I reach the orphanage, and inside I'm surprised by Chief Irons from around the corner, but not as surprised as when his fucking chest explodes. Man, I would have loved to add that creep to the count. I find a ladder and climb down it to find Sherry hiding, but we're joined by Mr. Goddamn X again, which begins another chase.
Claire! It's behind you!
Don't stop!
No, it's behind you, Sherry, you slow-ass motherfucking child. We get in the elevator, but this Terminator knockoff has had enough when holy shit. Yeah, Sherry, that's Mr. X's daddy now. He tears through Mr. X, killing him, then charges the elevator and sends us hurtling downwards. Claire gets knocked out, leaving Sherry no choice but to run for it to avoid her mutant father. Sometime later, Annette Birkin wakes Claire up but has little concern for her own daughter because William's mutations are just far more interesting.
Tell me, what happened to William?
We drop down into the sewage below.
Now I'm gonna smell like shit.
Come on, Claire, you ever been to Waterworld? This is just like the lazy river. In the upstairs office, I take down 3 zombies with knife skills that even Michael Myers would be jealous of. We find Sherry trapped in the dump, being scolded by her shitty mother to the point she just gives up and gets into the fetal position. Man, you really feel for this girl because both of her parents suck a metric fuck ton of ass. The rest of the sewer is more or less the same as it is in Leon's run, so we're gonna speed through this and showcase some kills. I unload my SMG on the zombie hanging out by the safe. Downstairs are 3 zombies that all get riddled with bullets, but the last one is straight up disrespected. Eventually, I end up in the meat room where I'm jumped by the G creatures. They all get greeted by my grenade launcher, but only one dies from it, while the other 2 get their eyeballs exposed and popped with my trusty SMG. I cap this encounter off with another zombie kill before proceeding into the back room. I shoot the zombie off the railing and continue to punch holes in him until he stops moving, but when I jump down off that spot, a random ass zombie comes out of nowhere and jumps me, but the end result is the same as he joins his zombie friend in death. Instead of the flamethrower, Claire receives the spark shot, which is a fucking magnificent weapon I wish I got to use more of. I head back the way I came and down another zombie from a distance right before showing off the magic of the spark shot, one hit killing the G creature blocking my exit. Another one slithers out, which turns out to be a big mistake on its part as it falls to the might of my new weapon. I take out another zombie before entering this spot occupied by 4 zombies who all get equal treatment with my SMG. I encounter one more G creature that meets its end with my spark shot. God damn, do I love that weapon. I head back to the save room and place the chess pieces in their slots to open up the way forward. The sequence with William Birkin plays out the exact same way as it does with Leon, including my death here by this goddamn shipping container. At least I took him with me, right? On my next attempt, I succeed in knocking Birkin off the ledge to the pit below. I pick up Sherry, who ain't looking so good. Annette tries to say it's too late to save her, but Claire's a fucking legend and carries her to the Umbrella Labs in search of a cure, and even gives her that sweet jacket of hers.
My brother gave it to me. You know it's supposed to be lucky.
After we tuck Sherry in safe and sound, we venture further into the labs, which, like the sewers, is mostly the same in this campaign. In the cafeteria, I take down 3 zombies using my SMG and then finish off the 4th with my knife. Body armor zombie gets sliced up before I upgrade my security clearance. Claire receives the signal modulator a little bit earlier, which allows me to go finish off that napping zombie. By the greenhouse, the Ivy zombies prove to be a little bit more bothersome since I don't have a flamethrower and my flame rounds are dwindling. I add these 2 and increase my total to 75. And here I realized they have pustules located on their body that would make Dr. Pimple Popper fucking giddy. I use my SMG in order to down one of them and finish it off with a grenade. A drop zombie lands behind me and immediately gets wrecked. Down below, I toss a grenade at the sleeping zombies and blow up 2 of them. The last one gets up and joins his friends on the count. I died here as Leon, so this time I came prepared with my grenade launcher and I kill these 2 deformed lickitongues. In this next spot, I go on a killing spree and take out 4 zombies by getting stabby and using my knife. And then I follow that up by killing another Ivy with a flame round. Before wrapping up in this section of the lab, I kill another one before dispensing the solution. Chlorophyll, more like borophyll because these Ivies are barely a threat and get added to the count. Thankfully no Mr. X this time as I pick up the security upgrade, but I do get jumped by another Ivy, which is sure to leave a rash unless I can find some Benadryl down here. Either way, this human weed is taken care of. I head over to grab the G-Virus sample and load up on ammo and health because we have another visit with William Birkin coming up. Annette downs him with her shoot juice before confiding in Claire that they are, in fact, assholes. William wakes up, taking personal offense to their parenting critique and tosses Annette across the room. Claire, being the absolute badass she is, tells Annette to fuck off so she can kill this monster for good. This fight also plays out the same way, and after a few minutes, its chest balls burst and Birkin falls. There's no kill graphic yet because we're not done with him. I run back to Sherry where I find Annette sleeping by her daughter. Good news, Sherry, is that you've been cured of the G-Virus. Bad news is that your mom is dead.
You were right about this jacket.
You know it's supposed to be lucky.
Damn, Sherry inherited that coldness, I guess, but it's time to get the fuck out of here. I run by all the Ivies without killing any of them, but the path is blocked by this walking pyre, which gets taken down with my SMG. Eventually, we find ourselves on a lift with a train where we get to see Leon's lovely face.
Don't worry about me. Just get out of here.
Aight, dude. Bye. We're not in the clear yet because Birkin has evolved. On the plus side, I get a minigun for this fight, but on the negative side, this fight is kind of repetitive. Basically, just run in circles, shoot, repeat until he stops. Again, his eyeballs start popping like balloons because not all of us can float down here. We reach the bottom level and take the train out of this place. Sherry tells Claire that she smells like shit right before Leon barges in. Fuck your pleasantries though, because that isn't an earthquake. And I'm sure you guys have noticed the lack of a kill graphic in that previous fight. You know what that means, right? You guessed it, because Birkin has reached its final form, a giant gaping mouth. After planting a bunch of ammo into it, another eyeball sprouts just in time for Claire to stab that thing with a metal pipe. Leon releases the train car, sending that monstrosity into the flames behind them. While technically the fire killed it, we went through too damn much not to add him to Claire's kill total, bringing the final count to 93. Our heroes find themselves outside as a truck approaches. Erring on the side of caution, they step aside, but instead the trucker gives Leon the one-finger salute. They walk into the sunset as Sherry plans their life together, and we roll the credits and into the final numbers. I ended Claire's run with 93 total kills. Again, there's no kill counter at the end, and zombies are by far the most frequently encountered enemy. This time I managed more kills using my SMG, but it was followed very closely by the revolver and my knife. I got caught as Sherry once, but since that isn't a death, that means I managed to die just one time, which brings my total kill death ratio to 93. I'm comparing my playthrough with Markiplier again, since he played through as Claire right after he finished his Leon run. He managed fewer kills at 83 and more deaths at 10, which brings his total kill-death ratio to 8.3. He finished the game in 5 hours and 13 minutes, meaning he averaged a kill every 3.77 minutes and a death about every half hour. I finished in 5 hours and 22 minutes, which gives me a kill on average every 3.5 minutes and a death just once every 322 minutes. Released in 2019, the Resident Evil 2 reimagining was a massive success. Using the RE engine, Capcom was able to modernize and introduce older games to newer audiences, with Resident Evil 3 and the recently announced Resident Evil 4 getting similar treatment. Please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment for any future series you'd like to see me cover. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time when I'll be covering the Resident Evil 3 remake. I'm King Deschain, signing off for now.